Hey all, so what I want to try and do with this video is address some of the common questions I get with my account, and it will be sort of an account overview as well, just showing some of the things I've done on the account so far. So you can see here I'm not far off the 2 billion point mark. I only need around 3 more mines and I will be there. Another thing to note about this account is it is all my own work. No one else has ever used this account. It was originally built in the Taurus uni. That was 3 times economy speed, 1 times fleet speed. It's now in Universe 1, which is 8 times economy, 1 times fleet speed. Now I have actually been a completely free player for several years now. I just rely on the dark matter I get for free. You can see here available 408,000, none of that is purchased. Basically what I do is I farm expeditions as much as possible, especially when there's one of those expedition events on. When there is, I use one of my expedition fleet slot boosters. If we go across, they look like this, you can see here. I try and put a few of those on, then farm expeditions relentlessly to get as much dark matter as possible, and that's giving me enough for what I need. I only really use the geologist. I sometimes use the in-game merchant as well. When the rewards event is on, I will use all of the officers though to get the additional rewards. So a common question I get asked is, why don't I use any add-ons or extensions? Well, even though they can be helpful to a certain extent, I've decided just to play OGame as you can see it here. In some ways I think it's useful to show how the game can be played without extensions or add-ons, so I will continue with this playing style. I've never experienced any major difficulties with this. I can do all the maths myself for mines, etc. And I don't really do any heavy fleeting nowadays. I mainly just go for inactives. One common question I often get asked is, which position is best? Well, all my planets are in slot 15. Back in the older days, the higher positions didn't give any sort of resource bonus, so I moved into slot 15 for the extra deuterium. But now, since the other positions give bonuses, it's kind of hard. I think actually slot 8 would be better now rather than slot 15. Metal can be traded and is one of the easiest mines to build, plus gives a significant increase with every metal mine. So I may have made the wrong decision for going for 15, but back when I did it, I think it was optimal. So one other reason I think slot 8 might be better than slot 15 now is because of those resource packages. If we go over to the all, you can see the resource package cost. Now the metal mine is the cheapest out of all of them. So what some players are doing is only building metal mines, then putting all their planets in slot 8, then just constantly buying these, then trading the resources. That's an effective strategy, but will cost you a lot of money. But that's kind of the only way you can reach the top positions nowadays. So that's something to bear in mind. I personally don't like doing that though. I never purchase those resource packages. I make do with the ones that I get from the rewards. And I do actually have quite a lot of them stored up. You can see here 25 of the complete resource packages, 2 of the metal packages, and 36 deuterium. Plus I do have some class change items as well, in case I wanted to mix things up a little bit. Discoverer could be quite fun for some expedition testing, as an example. This is all the stuff I have available. There's quite a lot of items here. I'm not using them yet though. Well, not all of them. I'm using a few of the 10% boosters, but I want to try and save most of this for after we get the lifeforms update, as it all will be a lot more useful then. Alright, since the main focus of my account is mines, let's start talking about them. So let's go onto one of the Galaxy 8 planets, go over to the resources, and here are my current mines across some of my planets. Some of them only have a metal 47 though, for example here. I am working on 48, 41 and 44 currently. This is what they all cost from here to upgrade. So after I finish the metal 48s, the next cheapest would probably be the crystal mine, but jute is about the same, so I think I will go for deuterium mines after I have finished metal 48s. Now I do like to go for the cheapest mine. It might not be the most effective strategy, but at this stage all the mines cost a ridiculous amount of res, as you can see here, so the cheapest one will give a decent score boost and then I can take it from there. So I will quickly show you what everything is producing in the tech info. You can see here that's the production per hour increase for each level. It goes up quite significantly, but the costs are so high that you should really get a significant boost. And then the resource settings over here, you can see here total per hour, that's pretty high on the metal. Crystal not so much. Jute is okay, that's a decent amount. And then of course set everything to 100% with the crawlers set to 150%. That may cost a lot of energy, but the fusion reactors with a high level of energy tech, you can see here, give a huge amount of energy. Let's go back over to the resources anyway. Just go over to the crystal mine, the tech tree, tech info here. Crystal doesn't really give too much with each level, so it's not a mine I'm going to be excessively excited about. So in other words, jute and metal are far more important than crystal mines. So if the two mines in this example cost similar amounts, I should be going for the deuterium over the crystal, I think. Let's just bring this up quickly as well. This is with a slot 15 setup. Better than the crystal, but still not a huge increase per level for the costs. But that's what it looks like anyway. Let's get out of here. So solar plants and solar satellites can't really be used with a slot 15 setup. I'll just bring this up for the interest of those who want to see it. The energy increase per level here, basically completely meaningless. Then solar sats in a slot 15 position, 4 energy per satellite, so yeah, that's not really going to help. The fusion reactor though, with a high level of energy tech, gives huge amounts of energy. I know it eats a bit of your deuterium, but look at the energy increase per level. Absolutely massive. Plus the added benefit of the fusion reactor is it cannot be destroyed. If you build a load of solar satellites, someone attacks them, you're going to lose them all. The fusion reactor is permanent, cannot be destroyed, and gives a huge amount of energy. It does eat a few of your fields though, but to be honest, I've never really got close to running out of fields. I've put a few boosters on my home planet. You can see here a plus 20 and a plus 15, but even with that, I still haven't managed to run out of fields, so that gives you an idea of what you can do later game. Some players like to get rid of their home planet, but you can see from here, I just don't think it's needed. I'll just bring up the resources to show what I've done here. 22, 21 and 19 as well on the resource buildings. Then facilities, I have a nanite level 14 here, believe it or not, plus a terraformer 12. That in a slot 15 position could be quite fun. 4.096 million energy. If I bring up a solar sat here, that produces 2 energy, so I need just over 2 million solar sats in order to do another terraformer. Yeah, I think I will pass on that. I will probably just deconstruct, if we go back over to the facilities, deconstruct the shipyard or the robotics factory when I need more fields, and that should hopefully help a lot. I did actually get the space dock from the rewards. The cost now is kind of amusing. 61 billion deuterium and 244 billion metal. I can almost safely say that will never be upgraded further, but I did get that for free from an old rewards event, so I can't complain too much. So now to go over to the research page. Now researches are quite difficult to upgrade at this stage. The times for each research are pretty big. For example, 46 weeks on that, 9 weeks, 5 weeks, 37 weeks on plasma, 25 weeks. I could keep going across. Now some of the key techs I do need to try and get done before lifeforms. The energy tech here, that's probably the most important actually. That's the one I want to try and do, but I don't think I'll have the resources yet. I may also need computer technology, I'm not sure yet. And to be honest, I kind of like the idea of increasing this just to annoy those that keep probing me. I know it's quite expensive, but making other players lose their probes repeatedly may sort of put them off probing and also give me free crystals, so it's not necessarily a bad thing working on espionage technology at this stage. Higher combat techs as well could be really useful. They are all 23 currently. Going up to 24 or 25 may deter other players, so that may also be something I work on in the future. And the hyperspace drive is basically to increase the Death Star speed. That has quite a few uses. For example, when attacking inactives, it may also make adjustments to the fleet saving times as well if I send a Death Star with my fleet save. Now I have probably been asked this question at least 100 times. Why have you got Graviton Technology Level 2? Well, why not? I had the resources available, so I thought, why not go for it? Yes, I had all the energy that was needed for this. Of course, I won't be going for Graviton Level 3 in the near future, but I was working on a terraformer, I think, at the time, and since my research queue was empty, I thought, why not do this as well while I'm here? So I did. This may well have another use in the future as well. That would be really good if they did give another use for this, plus the laser technology, which is basically useless. Something else I constantly get asked, why aren't you doing astrophysics? Well, just look at it. 65 weeks, and, well, that's about 60 billion resources. And that's only for one level. I will need another level after that. Now, without using dark matter to speed up the research time, that's over a year I'm going to have to wait for that to be done. Then the next level after that, I may consider it after we get the lifeforms update, but for now, this is a definite no-go area for absolute sure. I want to make sure I keep my research queue full, so I'll probably work on some of the cheaper techs first. Then when we finally get the lifeforms update, I will look at astrophysics then and decide if I want to do it. But I will say again, I'm definitely not doing astrophysics in the near future. So that hopefully answers that question anyway. So defense is another common question. I'll go over to one of my planets pretty much picked at random. This is what sort of defense I have on each of my planets. This is basically just designed to protect overnight production basically, plus a few cargoes. That's all it's designed to do. I always remove all of the resources on each planet before going offline for the night. I make that as one of my top priorities, as I feel it's important. I won't lose too much if I did forget that and get hit, but I don't think it's worth taking the risk, to be honest. Plus I would lose all of my crawlers on the planet as well if I did get attacked. Better to clean off, reduce the risk of someone attacking, Of course, someone might try and hit a few cargoes. I generally leave the small cargoes there but remove most of the large cargoes. You do want to keep defence at a level that's basically just to protect around 24 hours of resources. If you're leaving your fleet hidden behind a massive turtle, you are going to get hit eventually. That's pretty much guaranteed no matter what your defence is. So that's something to bear in mind anyway. So you might be wondering what my fleet actually is. I don't like to show all of my fleet, but this is what I have currently available as a sort of farming fleet. This is basically used for farming expeditions as well. It's not a massive fleet, but I don't need a huge amount of fleet. I'm not going after active players, and this is normally good enough for farming. The Pathfinders are especially useful when you find an inactive with some defence. I can't actually build those since I am a collector, but I find all of these from expeditions, and some of these have been obtained from the rewards as well. These are without a doubt my favourite kind of ship though. If I ever do change to the Discoverer class, let's go onto the planet rather than the moon, that would help. Then I will just build maybe 100,000 of these. Keep them as a tool for farming inactives and farming expeditions as well. Definitely one of my favourite ships, plus they are incredibly fast. If we go over to here, you can see the stats there. Speed 80,400. If I go over to something like the Light Fighter, the speed is only half of that. Then over to the Death Star just for fun. The speed of these is really slow, but you all know that already. I do like Death Stars though. I do have some of them sort of hidden right now. They are useful if I find an inactive with a lot of defence. I try and set up the timing to be as awkward as possible so no one can time me back. But that pretty much answers what I do with fleet at this stage in the game. I don't want to build a huge fleet. It will just increase fleet saving costs, plus I'm going to be needing to build fleet for a very long time before it's of any use. So I'm pretty happy with what I am doing here right now. I will talk a little bit about my moons while I'm here as well. I haven't really built up my moons significantly. I just make sure I have some sort of sensor phalanx on each one. I also have a shipyard as well, as I do build a bit of defence. And a jump gate level 1 is essential on each moon. Now for a moon defence, something like this is probably okay. You want enough to make a moon destruction harder, but not a crazy large amount on each moon, since it's very difficult to build. So I do think something like that is pretty much optimal in my opinion. Enough to make a moon destruction harder, but not enough to protect a massive fleet. And there we go, that's what I've done with most of my moons. Now that should have hopefully answered most common questions that I get asked. I have no plans to change the way I am playing, but feel free to let me know in the comments what you are doing with your own account if you want to do so. It's always interesting to hear what other players are doing, and I can compare that to what I am doing. This was kind of an experimental video as well. I don't normally do commentary with OGame videos. There's no sort of background music to OGame, but I wanted to give it a try this time around. I will do a proper account overview at 2 billion points, I think, or maybe slightly after. So that's something to hopefully look forward to. Now if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is always very much appreciated. I'm happy to take any feedback regarding this video as well, if you thought it was helpful or not. I do have a previous OGame video on the screen. Check that out if you want to do so. There's also a playlist, and you can also subscribe from here if you want to do so. And thanks for watching.